Hi everyone, Jessie Collins with Pyramid Educational Consultants in the US, and today I'm just showing you a quick video about how to make a quick little volcano science experiment and sharing some of the resources that are available, so how you could turn this little activity into a lesson where you could work on receptive and expressive communication, as well as other things that might be things you want to target for your learner. So the first thing I want to let you know is available is that there is a lesson plan. My printer was not fantastic today, so but there is a set of pictures that are available with this video, and there's also a lesson plan that goes with this. It's called Activity Plan. In the Activity Plan, it has a little bit of description, a link to the materials. There's some supplemental links so you can actually see the directions, and then this lesson plan talks about both requests and comments, receptive directions, additional skills, and other learning opportunities that you could potentially create during this lesson. And then for picture-wise, which again, this science experiment you can do with kids that are communicating in any modality, not just for PECS users. These pictures can be used for picture directions, they can be used for expressive communication. And on this picture sheet, there is volcano. There's the ingredients, so baking soda, jar, explosion, measuring spoons, aluminum foil, dish soap, water. There's pour and go. There's actually a blank symbol here where you could put the kids' preferred comment. So it's a little guy going like this, and if they like to say woohoo or yay or I love it, you could put that there. Food coloring, Play-Doh, I want, and it. So a mix of stuff on this particular form. It can be used in a variety of different ways. Okay, so logistically, how we actually make the volcano, a couple of things that you need. You need vinegar, okay, so white vinegar, a little bit of dish soap. You could have some water, and then also some baking soda and a spoon. And then also what you need is some type of bottle or jar that you could use. This is literally just a glass jar that I took from some tea, and then some aluminum foil. Okay, so you can use aluminum foil. If you happen to have Play-Doh or clay and you really want to, to build that up or do that, you could absolutely do that. So you could put the foil on, and then you could also do clay. So I don't have any Play-Doh or clay today, but that is an option. That's a way to kind of extend or expand this activity. And it would also be kind of cool is that you could also use different containers. So I think, this is gonna need a little bit more. We could even just do one like this. And so if you have different size jars too, that could be something you could play around with and try, as well as for requesting and communication, something where you could ask the kid could ask for the big bottle or the big jar versus a little jar, or you could even receptively tell the kid to take the big jar versus the little jar. Okay, so you get your bottle, and then the first thing that we need to do is inside the bottle or jar that you're using, we need to put some water. Okay, so I'm actually right by the sink, so I'm just gonna fill that up. All right, I'm gonna play around with how much of this I need. And then we need 4 spoonfuls of baking soda. So one learning opportunity that you could create naturally if you are in the kitchen, I could also recommend that you could go outside, is leaving the spoon in the drawer and just having the kid telling them to go get it. Or you could also hold up the spoon and create that request or that opportunity. If you guys have a kid that's working on math, we need to get 4 spoonfuls of baking soda. Okay, so that could be a direction that you could give them, or you could have them count that out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just put the spoon full of baking soda, and I should have probably made a funnel of some type. It's going to be a little easier if you have a bigger mouth jar. Put that into the jar that you have. Okay, and that's a direction your kids can follow, put in. It is really nice because you're going to make a little bit of a mess here. So that's why it's good to go outside, or if you have some type of tray or just something that you can put this inside of, it can keep your kind of experiment contained. Then what you're supposed to do is put a small spray or squirt of dish soap. So this is actually spray dish soap, but again, you could tell the student to get the dish soap and you're just gonna put a little squirt of that dish soap into the volcano. And then one other thing is to make it fun is to have some color or food coloring. So this is something else the kids can request for if they want a particular color. It says in the directions to use red, obviously, so it looks like lava. I have some neon color food coloring, and I love the color purple, which is my favorite color. So if I could request, that's what I would pick. And I am going to use purple food coloring. So my lava flow will be purple. So you put a couple drops of the food coloring in there. And again, you can do any color. And then what we need to do is we need to put the tin foil or the clay on the bottle that you're using, okay? One of the directions, or kind of like a tip here, is when you're doing this, one of the things you want to think about is that you want the volcano to have a slope for the lava, or essentially the water and the vinegar that you put in there, to kind of run out. This is gonna smell, so that's another thing your kids could comment on, because there's gonna be a vinegar smell. So at first I had kind of squeezed the aluminum foil on here, but what we actually want to do, and I'm gonna do that for a second and then I can kind of show you, is you actually want to kind of, like, once you put that on there, to poof it out a little bit, so it has more of like a slope, or like a cone-like shape for the explosion to run off of. Okay, so, and I'm actually going to add a little bit more on this side, because I did not give myself enough. Okay, and then obviously it's nice to have it run, kind of show you guys again here, have it run into the bowl or wherever you're doing this. And that's why outside is a nice place as well, because it's going to come out and kind of pour over. All right, then the last thing that you're going to add, okay, the way that we're going to activate this is by adding the vinegar. So this is definitely going to create that cause and effect type thing. A lot of our kids like that cause effect stuff, so that's something that you can kind of think about. You could ask kids, what do they think is going to happen? You can have kids count down and or indicate when they're ready for you to go. And if you're doing some science stuff, depending on the students that you're working with, you might actually talk about like mixing stuff, and even about reactions and how that can cause something to kind of happen. You could talk about acid and bases. It really kind of depends on the students that you're working with. All right, so we're gonna give this a go. I have a pretty tall bottle, so I'll have to pour some of this in here. But I'm going to just tilt this down while I do this. And then either you or the students can pour that vinegar in there. And then we start to get our explosion, which is really exciting. The more you add, the more of that explosion that you get. You could kind of let this go, and it's also kind of cool because we can watch it drip down. It's nice and contained, so it stays clean. And then if you want to have it go again, we have the ingredients in there. You can just reset, or you can even pour just a little bit more vinegar in. So let's say now I want to give this a go, and maybe even want to try a different color. So I'm going to pour a couple green food coloring drops in there. We can just, depending on how much vinegar you have, it's nice because vinegar is really cheap. Now we can pour some more of that in, and we just get more of a reaction. So also, the more soap you put in, the more it makes it a little bit soapy. So a lot of our kids really like this cause and effect. Very simple science experiment, I think, that most of us did when we were kids, but definitely something where we could get a lot of communication opportunities. Again, just kind of highlighting, once the explosion occurs, we could get a lot of commenting. We could work on directing other people's behavior. So saying, ready, set, go, or you get this, or put this in. We could also give those kids the directions for them to do that. And then we could obviously have kids ask for any of the ingredients that we have available. We can have our kids work on weighting. There's some math concepts or some things that we could build in here with, counting counting down or counting up to make the explosion happen, to get the spoon and count out the 4 scoops of the baking soda. And so there are some things that you can embed in as well. So hope you guys have some fun. Quick, easy, very simple little activity you can do with your students, and definitely take a look at both the lesson plan and the pictures that are available. You don't even necessarily need to watch this video. You can just give it a go, and then we can always have our kids clean up. So that's super functional too. Maybe not most preferred, but kind of the thing I usually finish off with. So have fun with your kids. I always think it's great to create communication and learning opportunities and kind of fun little activities instead of just at the table with drill and kill flashcards. And so here's one simple, easily repeatable and replicable science experiment. So have fun with your kids.